Welcome to my series on sales training. You know, a few days ago I was talking to my father over in the UK. Back in 1979, as a young 15-year-old, I actually got into business. I started a company, formally registered it, and became an entrepreneur in the printing industry. I was talking to my father because that was a while ago now. That was quite a few years ago. And I said, Dad, how many of those clients are we still dealing with? And I was really surprised at the answer. Furthermore, as we developed the conversation, I realized that a lot of those clients that we were dealing with were clients that my father had introduced me to, and they were in fact his clients before we started the company together, the printing company together. All told, as we looked at how long we'd been working with those individuals, it turns out we'd had client relationships for over 50 years. What I'd like to do in this video series is to talk to you about how meaningful relationships can create one of the most wonderful careers and professions you'll ever have the privilege to work in if you take it seriously and treat it like a business. For many of us, getting started in the sales industry can be a little bit intimidating. Maybe we came from a traditional job. Maybe we've started a company and we forgot, or we didn't plan for the fact that sales drive that company. It can take us outside of our comfort zone, but I'll tell you honestly, the rewards are truly amazing. So what I want to do today is to talk about how we get started. I remember years ago being so intimidated by starting in the sales industry that I would literally have a noise device next to me as I made my first tentative phone calls. I remember making all of the mistakes you could possibly make, but I was bound and determined to make myself a career in sales. So I would make those uncomfortable phone calls each day, but just in case it wasn't going the way I wanted it to, I'd have a set of pots and pans next to me, and I'd push them off the desk if something was going the wrong way. Literally. How foolish could I be? I'd just make a big loud banging noise. I would say to my client, gosh, you'll never believe what's just happened. I'm going to have to go and deal with it. I'll get back to you. And I'd buy myself some time to collect my thoughts and figure out how I would approach them next time I was chatting to them. You don't need to do that. Let me share with you some tips. So really what I want to talk to you about today is lead generation. It's learning to overcome those fears that I started with. It's finding a way to fill a pipeline with prospective clients that you're developing relationships as you're dealing with other clients. If you can learn to do that with me, you will be so much more successful. You may be working in one of two different types of the sales industry, if you like. You may be working in something that I refer to as destination sales. That's an environment where people are drawn to our show home, perhaps a car dealership is an example. Or if we're doing a real estate open house, they're drawn into our show home. If we're in a retail environment, that's very similar. That's destination sales. People are coming to you. There are other sales opportunities where you need to reach out to the client. That's the only way for you to connect with a potential client to develop that relationship. Neither of the two is better, but they do require a different commitment to a set of tactics that can help you. For example, think of the timeshare industry. I don't think there's one person in the world that's woken up in the morning, stretched as they get out of bed, poured themselves a cup of coffee and said, you know, I'm feeling so good about myself today, I think I'm going to go buy timeshare. So if you look at what those salespeople have to do, they have to take somebody who is not thinking that they want to buy that product, they just happen to drop in accidentally, and they have to turn them into a buyer that has an appetite to purchase that product. It's very different in destination sales where we've already decided, let me go to that car dealership, let me take a look at that show home. We're predisposed to that interest. So what you need to do, first of all, is to identify who your clients are. That's not as difficult as it sounds. At the end of the day, we can get all kinds of information of the type of people that we're looking for. When I talk about lead generation, I think too many people just defer to, well, I need to advertise, I need to advertise. If you're in the sales industry, the best advertising is word of mouth or your own conversations with other people. For sure, you can place advertising, but the benefit in advertising for you is branding. It's getting your name known. It's letting other people know that you're in the business, you're available to help them and serve them, but it very likely is not going to bring very many clients in the door. That's because most advertising rarely has a call to action campaign. It rarely convinces somebody to pick up the telephone and call. So you need to develop a database. You need to consistently build that database. So here's what I'd like to suggest you do in between now and the next video. As comfortable or as uncomfortable as it may be, whether you're new in the sales industry, whether you're mature in the sales industry, you need to set yourself the objective of getting a new client. Maybe every day, maybe every week if you're not quite as brave as that. I remember in one particular business that I had, I set myself a goal that for 30 days, only for 30 days, I would make myself the commitment that I would get one new client contact every single day. Now, I will guarantee you the quality of those contacts wasn't the best sometimes. Maybe I'd gone to bed and given up and decided it's too late, I can't meet anybody, I'm going to bed. But you know what? Because I'd set that goal at the beginning of the month, I got out of bed, I got dressed, I drove out, and I went and shook hands with a few people until I met a potential client. Now, I wasn't selling, I was just making friends with people. And I think that makes what we do less intimidating. So for example, this week, you may decide that in the Starbucks lineup, if that's where you get your coffee, you're actually going to reach out to the person in front of you, you're going to offer to shake their hand, and you're going to say, "Good morning, what a beautiful day. Are you new to town or do you live here?" It's as simple an icebreaker as that. How intimidating can that be? I'll promise you the first time it feels a little bit intimidating. But the more you do that, the more you get used to building a client database. Here's the tip. We don't need to go, "Hi, my name's Mark. I work in real estate. Are you looking to buy a house today?" That is the worst way to introduce yourself to somebody. But very simply, "Hey, I haven't seen you in this lineup before in this coffee shop. I come here every day. Are you new to town or are you just visiting?" And you will develop a conversation with a client that may let you learn more about that client, enough to develop a further relationship. It may be that next time you call them and say, "Hey, guess what? Our dealership's putting an offer on vehicles in the next 2 months. I know we'd met in the coffee shop a little while ago and I got your number. I don't know if you're looking for a car, but maybe I just want to put it on your horizon that there's going to be some good discounts happening at our dealership." It could be as simple as that, but that comes once you develop that relationship. I don't want you to think about that between now and the next video. I want you to make a commitment that in a period of time you will get X number of new leads. You will put new people into your database. If you consistently did that, you would build a database that is so unbelievably powerful and successful, it will drive your success for years to come. In the next episode, I want to talk to you about the value of that database. We're going to talk about database mining a little bit as we get into the next episode. But this time, let's just focus on something simple. You know, I've heard of people who literally cannot walk down the street and put out their hand to shake to somebody. They can't literally say, "Hi, my name's Mark." They're so impacted by the fear that they believe is real, they're not able to, if you like, meet new people. You need to learn to overcome those in the next little while. Set yourself a goal, particularly if you're new in the industry, to consistently meet new people. But think about relationship. Don't think about sales. Think about relationship. Think about getting a little bit deeper and getting to know somebody. And at the end of the day, you will build a database that, as I said, will make you an awful lot of money in the future. Hope that helps. Look forward to talking to you on the next episode.